Moments after the final push, Naomi's breath faltered, and the delivery room descended into silence. Outside, Mr. Ekene paced in the corridor, dreaming of calling his mother to announce the arrival of a baby boy. When the doctor approached, face solemn, Ekene felt the ground shift beneath him. "I'm sorry. We lost your wife. But the twins are safe." Two nurses handed him two tiny girls, bundled in lavender cloth. Ekene stood frozen, cradling them with trembling arms. "Naomi, we said we'd name him Uche if it's a boy." A tear slid down his cheek. He held each girl close. "I'll name you Adana, and you Amaka. I swear I'll be both father and mother to you." With no surviving parents of his own and Naomi's family unwilling to help, Ekene walked into the darkness of night carrying newborns and heartache. At home, bills crowded the small table, along with a burial invoice he couldn't yet face. He survived the night in 20-minute bursts, feeding, rocking, crying. The next morning, the twins screamed in hunger and he ran barefoot through the streets, coat wrapped around their tiny bodies. He found Mama Busy, a retired nurse and community matron, who gave him warm goat milk and a clean blanket. "These girls are a gift," she said, handing over the supplies. "They will one day bless your name." Her kindness cracked something in him. Maybe life hadn't completely collapsed. He returned home and sang Naomi's favorite lullaby, his hoarse voice barely above the wind. The room felt cold and empty, but the girls' breathing gave it warmth. In the weeks that followed, he learned how to boil bottles, scrub diapers, and soothe colic with rocking arms and prayer. He built cribs from old mango wood and sewed baby clothes from old agbada. Some neighbors shook their heads. "What can a bricklayer teach girls?" they muttered. He should give them away. He didn't answer. Instead, he carved wooden alphabet blocks for them, dreaming of the day they'd go to school. By the time the twins turned 3 months, Amaka could recognize faces while Adana giggled anytime Ekene made clicking sounds with his tongue. He worked construction jobs by day and bottle-fed by night, his arms growing strong from more than lifting bricks. One evening he collapsed outside the compound, dusty and dizzy. When he woke, it was Mama Busy again, arms crossed. "You'll die like this," she said bluntly. "Allow help." She arranged a rotation of neighborhood aunties who helped with chores and child-minding. Ekene resisted at first, then accepted their aid with a bowed head. "They owe Naomi nothing," he murmured once. "They owe womanhood everything," Mama Busy replied. He began keeping journals, tracking nap times, food allergies, and first smiles. Amaka loved throwing things, Adana loved clapping. His small shed became a classroom of laughter, chalk scribbles on wooden boards and hand-carved chairs. But whispers returned. "No wife? What kind of man is that?" the elders asked. Suitors lined up, widows, cousins, family friends, offering companionship and motherly presence. Ekene smiled politely, but his heart was sealed. Each night, he lit a candle by Naomi's photo and whispered, "Do you think I'm enough for them? Am I doing this right?" But the portrait only glimmered beneath lantern light, silent affirmation etched in Naomi's painted smile. One Sunday, after service at New Life Assembly, Pastor Femi preached on companionship. Each word hit Ekene like hammer to nail. Though the pew beneath him didn't creak, he felt as though it might give way. Afterward, as he guided the twins through the churchyard, he sensed the congregation's eyes clinging to them like dust on wet paint. That evening, as he rocked the girls to sleep, he murmured to the room, "Is it selfish to think I could open the door to someone else?" The question drifted with the scent of pine and roasted yam, unanswered. Those months after, the house became a rhythm only they understood. Outsiders saw chaos, firewood stacked by a leaky window, clay pots doubling as laundry buckets, sawdust blanketing the entryway. But inside, their laughter spun a kind of magic. Ekene's hammer strikes timed with the twins' giggles created a symphony no neighbor could judge rightly. When the girls turned 5, the cost of education threatened their little world. Ekene's modest bricklaying and furniture repairs kept the roof overhead, but barely. After a particularly dry season, he wrestled with the thought of remarriage, not for love but for help. Then came Ebra. Graceful, soft-spoken, known for her soups and charity work. She admired his craftsmanship, brought food during market visits, and cooed over the twins with syrupy affection. "They're as beautiful as moonlight," she once said, touching their cheeks gently. "If you ever need help." Her warmth breached Ekene's guard. The wedding was small, just a borrowed canopy, hymns sung off-key, and the twins spinning in pink dresses, calling her Auntie Ebra. For 6 months the house sang. Nighttime stories came in 2 voices. Ekene began to hope that maybe Naomi had sent this comfort from heaven. Then came the rainy Thursday. He returned from delivering a bunk bed set, shirt clinging to his skin, to the sound of terrified screams. Inside he found Ebra brandishing a pestle, the twins huddled behind the couch, bruises blooming. "Useless children," she shouted. "You ruined my wrapper with your dirty hands." Adana sobbed. Amaka clung to her sister. A storm surged inside Ekene. He stepped forward, calm but thunderous. "Raise that pestle again and may heaven judge between us." Ebra sneered. "You'll die an old fool with nothing but orphans." By dawn she was gone, clothes stuffed into plastic bags, gate slamming behind her like a verdict. Rumors bloomed like weeds. The street buzzed with murmurs about the failed union. Ekene ignored them, his focus narrowing to two terrified girls asleep in his arms. At first light, he knelt beside their mat, calloused hand on each head. "Never again will I risk your safety. I promise, you will never feel that fear again." The vow was sealed with silence and steady resolve. With Ebra gone, school resumed its place at the center of their lives. Ekene burned pancakes, forgot to label notebooks and tied crooked hair ribbons, but the twins danced through it all. They invented a secret code, 2 blinks and a pinky tap, meaning, no matter what. Loneliness crept in at night, but Ekene buried it under slabs of wood and nighttime labor. He shaped kitchen stools under a flickering lantern, converting sweat into exam fees and bus fares. The elders mumbled over cola nuts. A man trades his fortune for daughters? Sons would bring legacy. Ekene responded with more headboards, more classroom fees. And in that rebellion the girls learned their first truth. Family is who stays when the rest leave. Primary school slipped past in a breeze of chalkboard scribbles and pounded yam breaks. Adana loved multiplication. Amaka disassembled old radios and boasted she'd build one from scratch. Ekene's chest swelled with pride every time they placed a report card in his hands. But a shadow followed. Junior secondary school meant higher costs. Textbooks, shoes, PTA levies. His work hours stretched. He skipped lunch, sold his bicycle and carved stools by moonlight just to make ends meet. At the women they were becoming, curious, resilient, kind. They spoke of dreams not as wishes but as destinations. Amaka longed to study engineering. Adana kept a notebook labeled Flight School Goals, pages filled with aerodynamics and airplane sketches. One night Ekene lingered outside their shared room, listening to their muffled voices. "If I win the science fair," Amaka whispered, "we could use the prize money for Papa's workshop someday." "I'd rather build him a library," Adana replied. "He gave us everything. Even his dream." Their words curled into Ekene's soul like smoke around firewood. He turned away, eyes stinging. At the city library, word spread about the janitor who knew how to repair antique reading desks better than any hired hand. Mrs. Mensah assigned him light restoration tasks on weekends, polishing oak, replacing drawer runners, tightening brass hinges. "Ever consider teaching carpentry?" she asked one Saturday. He shook his head. "No certificates. Just hands and memory." "You have more than most teachers," she said, placing a flyer in his palm. "City Skills Center is taking artisan instructors." That evening Ekene read the flyer under their dim bulb. The salary was meager but stable. He would teach 2 afternoons a week. It wasn't his old shop, but it was purpose. When he told the girls, they clapped and danced in their socks. Adana spun, pretending to hold a microphone. "Introducing, our father, Mr. Ekene, the design genius." Amaka added, "Builder of dreams, sander of sorrows." Their laughter echoed through the small apartment. For the first time in years Ekene let himself laugh fully, head back, chest open, fear quieted. As weeks passed, Ekene began teaching. He wrote lesson plans in pencil and carried wooden samples in his old toolbox. His students, young men, dropouts, single mothers, listened closely as he explained how to measure twice, cut once and honor the grain of each wood. At home, the girls prepared for their junior WAEC exams. They studied late, scribbling formulas and essays. Ekene made chin-chin to keep them alert, dusting their notebooks with flour. And then came the results. Amaka, A in mathematics, B in basic technology, A in technical drawing. Adana, A in geography, A in English, B in biology. They cried when they saw them. Ekene simply knelt and prayed. The next day the girls presented him with a gift, a hand-painted wooden plaque, carved from discarded mango wood. It read, "To the man who made broken things whole." He didn't speak for a long time, only held them both tightly.